Hi, it's David Ostriker here in Karmiel. I want to wish you a good Shabbos in advance, a very special Shabbos. This is the 16th of March, sunny Karmiel, beautiful here. It's a day filled with so much. Shabbos would be enough, but more than that, it is Shabbos HaKodesh, the Shabbos in which the first mitzvah is given to the Jewish people as a nation, that of the lunar calendar, lunar solar calendar. It is a statement of God's wishes and aims for us to understand that the most valuable thing that we get is time. Prioritize it, to act on it. Money will come and go, property will come and go, many things come and go. Time just goes. It never comes back. So make sure you use it well. That's Parsha Chodesh. But more than that, by the way, this is the day after Caesar was assassinated on the Ides of March, and the day before St. Patrick's Day. It's also the day before Ernie's birthday. Happy birthday. It is called the Birthday of Kings this Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, Nisan being the first month of the Jewish calendar, and also the month in which Pesach comes. It's also the birthday of Rav Shochet, very dear and wonderful man. And it is the beginning of the reading of the third book of the 5 books, called Parsha Vayikra, in English Leviticus, in Hebrew Vayikra. He called. It's a Parsha in which God calls to Moshe. What voice does God use? It seems when God first speaks to Moshe at the burning bush, Rashi tells us he used the voice of Moshe's father so as not to terrify him. Later we know the prophet Eliyahu describes God's voice as a soft, small voice. Not loud, not shouting, not making a lot of noise. Years ago, my brother was a trader in the stock market on the floor of the market, and people were shouting everywhere. In those days, it was before a digital market, and people were saying, buy, sell, do that, go, right? And my brother would speak very softly. And I observed that the impact was tremendous, because what would happen? Everybody would lean forward closer and closer and closer to hear what he was saying, and he was speaking softly. But because he was so good at what he did, they wanted to know what he was doing, because maybe they would do the same thing. So maybe this is what it's all about. When the Almighty speaks to us, he doesn't need to shout at us. He could speak to us in the voice of our parents or ancestors, or he could speak in a small, soft voice. Small, soft voice. Why? So we lean forward to hear it. So we hear God's voice because we have a desire to hear it. Moshe stood outside the Mishkan until God said, come to me, come in, we'll speak. Vayikra. A calling. The whole book is called calling. You know, there's a term that people have a calling. It's not used very commonly anymore, and in fact, sometimes it's even mocked. But what does it mean? It means that a person comes to a understanding that there is more to life than acquisition. Acquisition is important. Quality of life is important. But mission is important too. We often associate this with teachers, with charitable works, sometimes with clergy. Anybody can have a calling to make the world a better place. And as we stand at the beginning of this book of calling, I urge you to listen to the small, soft voice that calls to you within yourself. To know that that is a voice of something more than the rational. That is a voice of the super-rational. It's a voice that says to you, do the better thing. Act in the better way. And know that from this you can lose nothing. You will better your community, you will better your world, you will better your family, and for sure you'll better yourself. So listen to that voice, Vayikra, and know that it doesn't have to shout at you. You need to lean forward and hear it. And when you do, and when you act on it, you will make it all a better place, a makom. Wishing you a good Shabbos, good preparations for Pesach. It's coming soon. We're now in the last 2 weeks. I'll see you next week as we get closer to it. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat HaKodesh Shalom. Be well. Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos.